Hey folks, Hacking This and That back again with yet another video, and in case you haven't figured out, the end is nigh, and this has absolutely nothing to do with Halloween. It has everything to do with the obvious slow demise that is I05. I have been waiting patiently for a couple of things. First, I want to sort of what happened the last time I was on their Discord. So let me pull over a screenshot because it's going to be quicker than me trying to find the various messages. I did compile this little photo montage for this purpose. So back in October 10th, Hans, the new leader of this con, made it known, and it came through back channels to me, that there was interest in getting down converters, particularly down converters, but hardware, to folks like myself and to Joe, so that they could have a proof of existence review by people like myself in the community that were convincing people like yourselves that this is just one big scam. And I had nothing to do with sort of instigating this. It just happened to be mentioned one day, and I went, oh, I wonder if I can actually even get back into that Discord. And lo and behold, I was no longer blocked. So I showed up, and then of course Hans is like, hey there, did you come for your down converter? I was like, so this is what I'm hearing. And basically the instructions were to reach out to Maria. So I took a couple of days, finally got a DM to Maria. And I say it took a couple of days, not because I was incapable of finding the time to do this. I actually tried to do it pretty much right away. But when you have your DMs blocked, then it's kind of hard to have people reach out to you. Now, they can give you whatever excuse as to why they, limit their DMs. I leave my DMs open. Feel free to climb into my DMs anytime. Post questions. I will block you and boot you if you come to harass me. But the reality is, I have always had an open door policy when it comes to Discord, and I found it odd that I had one admin from the Discord telling me to go DM another admin from the Discord, and it took 5 days to even get past the friend request. And as you can see, I got the hello little, hi. From there, I have absolutely no further response messages from Maria, and I may pull that over and show you. I've gone so far as to start throwing some pretty project negative comments into their into Maria's DMs, just trying to elicit a response, like acknowledge I exist, because if you're looking for my help in vindicating this project, you would think that they would actually put a little effort into trying to communicate with me. So and then we get to, let me just throw that away. A little snippet of what is the state of I05. Wow, shocker. Website expired. Now back in the 19th. So at this point we are 12, 13 days that their site was down for maintenance. And supposedly this maintenance includes migrating over to a new platform and blah, 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 and so much BS that I'm like, this is so amateur hour. Somebody, I don't want to jump to assumptions as to the legitimacy of the credit card that might have been used to purchase anyway. It is a 5-minute fix to turn around and enable Squarespace to turn this site back on with a new credit card. This is not technical maintenance. This is neglect. We're not putting any more money into this con because we're not getting enough money out of this con. And I will, at this point, I'm just going to call it what it is. spade's a spade. This has always been fishy from the beginning. I started picking away at the technology. I've always said I want to maintain a focus on the technology and not get into tokenomics or anything else, but ask this of yourself when you're looking at I05's Discord. Why is a Web3 tech company spending so much time talking about money and not about tech? As a matter of fact, some of the last technical comments posted on this Discord is about a GAT server. And if I quickly pull open Discord here, I want to make sure come on, I get this timed out properly. Back from Hans, back in the middle of October, yes. Service agreement variabilities. I'm really looking for a message from Maria specifically. And that was in regards to the message parser occurs on the GAT server. There we go. Okay, this is back at the beginning of October. And this was about the dashboard and how this dashboard was going to be taking data from the GAT server and capturing the activity going on with the transit nodes and the down converters and all this absolute bullshit that was being slathered onto ignorant people who don't understand tech. And I'm sorry that I'm using such harsh language, but this is how they're treating their people. They are basically just whitewashing techno jargon and throwing it out there and saying this is what we're doing, and people are eating it up because they want to believe. They have spent money in what they think is going to be the next IoT revolution, and they have everything in their being wanting to make this true. So when techno jargon gets thrown across the table, it's really easy just to consume it and go, yeah, they're working on it, they're building stuff, it's going to be cool. I call bullshit on this because what is a GAT server? They use the terminology almost like they're trying to make it equal to a chirp stack or a LoRaWAN network server or an LNS or even console and router that is existing on let's use a little bit of Google foo here and just, what is a GAT server? This is the relationship between a client being your smartphone and your Bluetooth device being your watch. It creates a generic attribute server, GAT server, that says, here are the services I contain, and here is the information that you can get from those services, i.e. my watch tracks my heart rate. It creates a service on a GAT server to my phone and says, here is how you access this information. You can find this even in a Adafruit blog post. Let's get a little more into some of the BLE specific Novel bits and how to design custom services using Bluetooth GAT. Again, we're just going to keep finding that this is a service relationship between a device and a node, and it is not some big network server that is going to gather tons of information and put it into a dashboard. They can't even produce hardware, so now they are trying to produce vaporware that is not even real software. This was fabulous. This was shared a few weeks back, and this was put out there and, have the people like Hacking This and That explain what this is. It's a BLE to Lower Bridge. There's nothing novel here, folks. This is basically 2 radios on a controller. Nothing novel. As a matter of fact, you can get the specifications on this fully available. I don't disagree with anything that is in here because it is not anything novel. If I turn around and put an AM radio and an FM radio, and yes, I'm showing my age, folks, into a single radio and I install it in a car and I call it a dual band radio, there is nothing novel about that. It just happens to be 2 radios in a single controller. You can order one of these off AliExpress. It's a PAX counter. What is a PAX counter? This is a simple piece of hardware that uses Bluetooth and counts the number of unique BLE MAC addresses that it can hear. Again, I pause there because I love how some of the terminology they're going to scan. It's like, you don't scan, you listen. Anyway, the device can hear beacons. It sits there and goes, I hear 32 unique beacons. That means there must be 32 unique people because I see 32 unique devices in the vicinity. And it counts that. And it turns around and uses LoRaWAN to upload that data onto a LoRaWAN network, maybe Helium network, if you happen to be using the Helium network. There is no tech here, people. I feel bad for those, and I see them still in the Discord because I check on things to see how many more people have woken up to the reality that there is no tech. There never was. There might have been intentions at some point, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I corresponded with a number of manufacturers of the hardware that was originally portrayed on the I05 website. One particular manufacturer said, oh yeah, I got a price quote or request from them, and that's as far as it went. So I genuinely think at one point there was a bigger con that was going to go on here where they were actually going to acquire hardware and send it out. I think they do have some of those little, whatever they want to call them, we'll just call them what they really are, a US or Bluetooth NRF52 USB dongle. I am sure that they have a tray of those. Maybe they ordered a sample set of 100 pieces. There was some pictures of the BLE wristbands. Again, I am confident that they, probably did order some sample units. They probably were going to order sample units of just about everything to try to get it out there. They had to get the con believable. But whether, and I'm going to assume that I deserve some credit on this, started punching holes in this, and enough people started backing away, and enough people started doing chargebacks on credit cards, that all of a sudden the momentum they thought they had that was going to allow funding of these purchases disappeared. And now it's just a slow trickle of rewards to maybe this elite 1500. Maybe they're still getting some rewards. I don't know why. They obviously have shown that if there's nothing coming in, no sales, then there's nothing going out. So again, I didn't want to dig into that. I want to stick back to the tech and stay with what I know and I understand. And by all means, I see some of you commenting in there about I said I'd eat my words. And I will post a retraction video, and I will fully endorse this project if somebody can show me a working piece of hardware that does, and I'm going to be very specific, DECT 2020 NR Plus as was advertised. I do not need a whole bunch of useless BLE garbage. Yes, I did fish some of that out of the garbage. That doesn't do what is advertised. There are already BLE networks out there. They exist. There's nothing novel about this. This was all around the DECT 2020 NR Plus being 1.9 gigahertz and not around a whole bunch of 2.4 BLE existing technology. Piggybacking on an existing network only to capture the fear of missing out that so many people were either a year or 2 years or almost, God forbid, 3 years late to projects like Helium, where, yeah, the rewards were huge and fat in the beginning because it was a designed rewards pool that shared. And if you're sharing between 10 people or sharing between 1 million people, big difference in what you get in rewards. So they were really just trying to drive that fear of missing out, and so many people have bought into this. I'm sorry to see so many people having lost out on this. If you were able to get your money back out of them, congratulations. But at this point, I think we just need to call it done. It's over. Pack up, move on. The site's already down. Close the Discord and pretend that it didn't happen. For the rest of us, we'll have memories. We'll have these videos that you can refer back to and remember the days when, Jerome, I almost forgot his name. He hasn't even been around so much. I'm not even sure how they've passed the buck around as to who's in charge and who's not in charge. But anyway, showed up that one fateful day saying, hey, has anybody heard about this new IoT project? And that was the start of my adventure with I05, going, something doesn't feel right here. And the more I dug, the more things didn't line up, the more they started to smell really, really fishy. And I have continued to stand by the reality that this was always a con from the get-go. So I want to move on from that. I do owe some people some promises that I long overdue in regards to building a application with Node-RED, InfluxDB, Grafana. I will get around to that. I was off for a few weeks with some personal leave and stuff, so I haven't had a chance to get back into that. I am still working on that. Get that out soon. But until then, feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, the DMs are open. You can find me on the Helium Discord, hacking this and that. Good luck with your project, and have a great night.